Hello there. Well, it is the last night in my current bedroom. I am moving, so I'm leaving this space and I've got rid of my bed, which I sold to my housemate for a very, very good price for him, but it's gone. And I'm just taking a little moment, making use of the space, do a little bit of dancing before I leave it. And I have housemates that want to hang out with me, but I'm just not in the mood. I'd rather be in my own little space, dancing and thinking and processing all the things that have happened even over the last few days. Like I went to a birthday party on Saturday night, and it was of a lady in a studio that I work in, and she is a sweet lady, and she has the most interesting friends. I got talking to one of her friends that is from Chile, and she was telling me all about visiting it recently, and like all the environment there. Like she'd been in the desert and the glaciers and talking about the food there, and she's just so passionate about it. I was just like loving listening to her and asking her questions and stuff, and just learning about her life. And then I was talking to another lady that I think she was from Argentina, and we were talking about many things, talking about moving, dancing, like moving country and experiencing different places in the world and stuff. And she told me that when she was younger, she took part in a dance marathon that lasted 6 days. And on, like, she was able to sleep. I think there was like a buzzer or something, so they could sleep in the area, not for many hours, but enough, maybe 4 hours or something like that, I think it was. And then they could obviously go to the bathroom and drink water, but there was like a timer on it, and then they had to get straight back to dancing. And there was like maybe partners or couples in it, because she had a partner with her dancing. And she said on the 6th day, she had an out-of-body experience. And I read about it afterwards, and this can happen if you are doing something like a endurance thing, like dancing. For instance, you're over-exhausting yourself and you go into this fatigue where you can have disassociation, where you're basically, you separate from the ego. So you're able to almost, what she was telling me, she's that she had a bird's eye view of her and her partner dancing, and she could see above them and what they were doing. And she had a like almost like a vision of something happening, but it was like she said her body was moving, but her mind was like not with her body, like her body was just moving on autopilot. I was like, what? I've never heard of that. So I went and read about it, and I was like, this is madness. So that was just a really interesting conversation. And then I was out dancing with my brother on Saturday night. Went to a Latin night, well, it was reggaeton night in this place called La Cueva. They do nights in Sydney, and reggaeton is like the theme. I think it's like an old school reggaeton, and we went just for look, just I had a dance teacher that was performing there, and I went to just suss it out and go for a bit of dancing. And then there was also a techno room, and I was like, oh, let me try reggaeton and like dance around here. And then we went into the techno room, and I was like, okay, this is a bit of me. And it wasn't techno, it was house music, and me and my brother love house music, and house music is in my blood. I said this to my friend before. She's a DJ, and I was at a rave that she was playing at and listening to music and dancing. And I was like, I don't need anything. I don't need alcohol, I don't need drugs. I just need house music, and it makes me want to move. It like brings me to a euphoric place. I won't be dancing for 6 days in a row though, but I will dance all night long. And it was just so fun being in that room, because it was almost like a smaller room there, and the DJ that was playing was really good, and we were just like, just dancing, drinking water. It was just great. And then, yeah, that was my weekend processing that. And then I today had one of my last classes with my over 60s group that I train, Strength and Balance, and they are so lovely, and I've fallen in love with them all. And I've been teaching 3 classes in a row on Mondays, and there's like maybe 20 to 25 per class. Some of them are a bit smaller, but you get to know people. Well, I do. I love to like chat, and I'm teaching them the moves, and then I'm kind of bringing up conversation, and it's nice because they'll just kind of start chatting, because I found when I went there it was a bit quiet, like no one was really talking. Maybe some were kind of chatting a bit beforehand, but then I was like, okay, I need to bring some energy into this room. And asking them questions, which, you know, I'm a novice, like I'm so new and fresh to Australia even. So I'm asking them things about Australia and the history and little things about them. And today I was curious about people's family history because someone mentioned that they were writing or researching their family history. I was like, that's fascinating, like learning about your own family history. Like there's so much to know and learn. And then it kind of brought up conversations that other people were talking about. And I did bring up the dance marathon lady, and then they were talking about other things and endurance tests and, or, you know, things that they did that were endurance. They're all making jokes about marriage being an endurance sport. And then they were telling me about different places to go visit. But it's really lovely when you hear someone passionate talking about something that they're really interested in. Like that's what I love when, if you bring up a little, I don't know, I'm just waffling because I like to waffle and chat and bring up little topics, but then it sparks, I find, a topic that someone might be interested in, and they'll give information about things. Like we talk about work in one of the groups, and two of the ladies used to work in a law firm, and then one of the ladies has been like an early childhood education teacher, and she's retired, but she'll still go work in different colleges and stuff like that. And she'll, I don't know, she was talking about different things, but it was just interesting. I just like talking to people, and I know my brother gets exhausted when I talk because I want to talk about many things and ask questions and learn things and listen to things. And there's something I heard today, that it is better to speak with confidence that you know what you're talking about, but listen as if you could be wrong. Does that make sense? Talk as if you know you could be right, but listen as if you could be wrong. So there's always the opportunity to learn. Like we don't know everything. That's why I'm curious to know things and learn and talk. And there's also two questions that I heard today that really fascinated me and made me think. That's why I like processing rather than talking to people that I'm not really friends with, but that's okay. Everyone's your teacher, you can learn from them. But the question today was, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? I suppose that can relate to work, a situation in your life, but what would you do if you know you couldn't fail? And what would you do if you knew you wouldn't be punished? That made me think of many things. What would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? And I'm like, oh, write that down because I know what that is. There's a couple. And then what would I do if I knew I wouldn't be punished? That would be telling the absolute truth. That's the first thing that comes into my head. For instance, a situation with my housemates. I don't really like being around them because one of them has a lot of negative energy and she kind of drains me. And the other people, they're nice, they're just not, I'd rather hang out by myself. And maybe that's just because my social battery is short for people that drain me. And I can be friendly and I like to be nice and I like to help. But for instance, I sold my bed to my housemate and I wanted to help him put him up in his room, and that's cool. I'm happy to do that. I'd like to do that. That's a fun thing. But then if you want to hang out with me and chat and have a bottle of wine and I'm not really friends with you, that's draining my energy, because then I feel like I have to, and then I feel like I have to chat, and then I'm going to be really tired, and then I'm going to be resentful. So I also read something today that is when you don't communicate, I'm not getting it right, when you don't communicate your expectations, you will end up being resentful. So for me, I don't want to say to them that I don't want to hang out with them because I feel like that's mean. So I wish I could say it without having a punishment, like of making someone feel like I'm being rude. But if I don't communicate that, then I'll be resentful because I'll be sitting there and I don't want to be there. So that's my lessons for today. My last evening in my room, I'm going to be sleeping on a yoga mat this evening. I do have pillows and cushions, but I just wanted to get rid of my bed because it's gone now, it's done. And I move into my brother's house for the next 2 weeks, which will be fun. Off on my next adventure.